Dear learners, greetings. Welcome to my course on Advanced Statistics in Education. Dear learners, this is a very important course, and after learning uh, all these lessons, you will enjoy statistics and you will learn how useful is statistics not only for you in individual capacity but for the society, for the community and for the country also. So listen to me carefully, my every lecture, and try to learn what I want you to learn. So let's begin with what is statistics. As I have mentioned, statistics is not something new. Since you are undergraduate and postgraduate students, so in the junior classes, you people know what is statistics. So it is very important. Why it is very important? Because it includes in itself the calculation of so many things. It deals with the data, it deals with the tabulation of the data, it deals with the generalization of the data, it deals with so many inferences. If you go through the newspaper, you will find so many data is mentioned. Government frequently says national income is this, defense expenditure is this, the expenditure in the field of healthcare is this, median age of our youth is this. Human resource is one of the most important resource of the country, and the skilled youths are very important for us, and in our youths these skills are required to be inculcated. I mean, these data frequently you see, and these data is collected, tabulated, classified and interpreted by the knowledge of statistics. So first let me explain what is statistics. So for that I have taken some bookish definition which is mentioned on the slide. So what is statistics? If you see etymologically, uh, what the scholars say, that this word statistics has been derived from the German word statistic, whose meaning is the study of political facts and figures. Even some scholars claim that the word statistics has been derived from the Latin word status, which means state, and again here by state we mean the data that is provided by the state. So etymologically, basically statistics is the study of facts, figures and data. There is one scholar, Kendall, he defines statistics as the science of collecting, analyzing and interpreting numerical data. Remember, in this definition there are three things: collecting, analyzing and interpreting. Now let me explain. So I am a teacher and I want to know what is the performance of my student, particularly in that subject which I teach. So what I did? I took a test, and there is suppose 100 marks test. Students appeared in the test, and then I scored and got the score. Now the score are like that. As I mentioned, maximum marks were 100. Lowest score that is scored by one particular student is 10, and the highest score is 90. So this one thing, I have collected the data. How I have collected the data? simply by administering a test on my student. So, collection of data means what? How you are going to take the data. You are a business executive. You want to know which of your product is most popular. So, what you will do? You will collect the data from the customers, your customers, and you will ask them which product you like most. So, you will collect the data from 100 people or 200 people or 500 people or something like that. That will give you some crude approximation which of your product is better. So, if you want to check the popularity of your product as a business executive, you want to calculate the average salary of your employees as a business executive, or you are a teacher and you want to know the average performance or something like that of your students. So, for that you have to collect the data. So, statistics is the science of number one, collecting the data. How you are going to collect the data. Collecting the data is the most basic step in statistics. Then comes analyzing the data. So which score is the lowest score? Which score is the highest score? Is my group homogeneous? Is my group heterogeneous? That is, in one particular classroom, I have found that out of all the 100 students, the lowest score was 60, whereas the highest score was 72. So, in comparison to this group, this first group, second group is more homogeneous. Why? Because the difference between the lowest score and highest score in the second group is less in comparison to the difference between lowest score and highest score in the first group. So, this is what analysis. So, after collecting the data, you analyze your data, and after the analysis, you come to interpretation. What is interpretation? Why this poor performance? So, only 10 marks are scored by one student or two students or 10 students out of 100. It shows certain kind of poor performance. There might be some reason for this poor performance. What are those reasons? Is my teaching method faulty? Was I in hurry? I mean, I didn't give enough time. I just completed the task hurriedly. That's why my students, some of my students couldn't understand. Was the content really difficult? I mean, what's the reason? So, this will come only when you will interpret your data. But you can't do interpretation unless and until you collect the data, then you analyze the data, then comes the interpretation. And all these three things we do so far as the knowledge of statistics is concerned. This definition was given by Kendall, as I have explained. Let's proceed. Two more definitions we will discuss. The first definition that was given by Sutcliffe. If you go through the screen, you will find statistics comprises collection, tabulation, presentation and analysis of aggregate facts collected in the methodical manner without bias and relates to a predetermined purpose. So, collection of data. Earlier I have explained in the definition given by Kendall. There is one term here, that is tabulation. So, what is tabulation? I am just making a figure here. So, there is one college. In that college there are 1200 students. Out of these 1200 students, 700 students use bus, the college bus, whereas 300 students, they come by car, their own car, whereas 200 students come by bike. So, there were total 1200 students. Out of 1200 students, 700 students use the bus that is provided by that college, that is public transport. 300 students, they prefer to come to the college by their own cars, whereas 200 students prefer to come on bike. So, I have got this data and I have tabulated and presented this data in such a form which might be easy for anyone to understand. So, certain kind of classification of data is there and then its presentation. So, in tabulation what we do? We make the data in some presentable form. In tabulation what we do? We classify certain kind of data. So, first we collect the data, we tabulate the data and then we present in some presentable forms and then we do the analysis. Already I have explained how we do the analysis and there are so many ways of analysis. Sometimes we calculate mean, sometimes we calculate median, sometimes we are interested in knowing the variability of the group, sometimes we are interested in knowing the average performance of the group, sometimes we are interested in knowing whether the distribution is normal or not. I mean, it depends on our purpose. So, as will be our purpose, accordingly we will collect, tabulate and present our data, and according to our purpose, according to our predetermined purpose, definitely we will do the analysis also. But that analysis will not be done in a haphazard way. That analysis will be done in a methodical way, and statistics provides us those methods through which the analysis of the data will be conducted. And that analysis, as I have mentioned, will depend on the predetermined purpose. What are our purposes? Accordingly, the statistics will define how methodically we are going to analyze the data without any bias. That is, this analysis of the data will be done objectively. This analysis will be done objectively. We will not be biased. So, whatever the things are coming out, empirically, accordingly we will tabulate, we will classify, we will present the data and we will do our analysis. So, this definition was given by Sutcliffe. In the continuity of this, let us talk about the fourth definition. So, that says statistics deals with the collection, classification, analysis and interpretation of data obtained through experiments number 1, observations number 2 and surveys number 3. So, in statistics we collect, classify, analyze and interpret the data obtained through these 3 ways. What are these three ways? Experiments, observations and surveys. So, I am a teacher and I use several methods to teach my students so that they may understand the concept which I want to let them understand. So, I want to know which method is better method. So, sometimes I teach my students through lecture method. Sometimes I teach my students through some activity. Sometimes I assign some purposeful assignment, I mean something like that. There are so many strategies, so many methods I use. So, in order to know which method is better, what I do? I will divide the students suppose in 3 groups. So, first group I will teach through one method, second group I will teach through another method, and third group I will teach 3 methods, and then I will take some test. First I will take a test that is known as pre-test before giving the treatment. Before teaching them, I will analyze, I will assess how much knowledge they have. Then the treatment will begin, that is I will start teaching them through different methods, and when my treatment will be over, that is my teaching will be over, again I will assess and I will have another test that is known as pre-test, post-test. So, pre-test before the treatment, post-test after the treatment. And then by using some statistics, I will be able to know which method is better out of all the 3, which method is best, or which method is poor, or which method is bad, whatever you say. So, sometimes we get some data through experiments, and particularly in the field of science, physics or chemistry or zoology or botany, lot of experiments are conducted, and those results definitely that we get through the experiments are based on the interpretation of the data. We collect the data, we analyze we classify the data, we tabulate the data, we analyze the data, we take some interpretation, and finally we come to some result. And not only in the field of science, even in social sciences also we conduct some experiments. So, the data that we collect, classify, analyze or interpret may be obtained through experiments. Sometimes some data we do not get through experiments, rather we get through the observations. Observations, my own observations, collective observations, observations by a team, particularly when the doctors study administer some drugs on some patients. So, what is the physical changes are there, how that patient is behaving, I mean before giving that particular drug, how he or she was behaving, and after giving the drug, how he or she is behaving. So, they observe minutely. So, sometimes some data we do not get through experiments, rather sometimes some data we get through observation also. And the third way through which we get the data are the survey. So, as a researcher, I am studying the academic achievement of class 10th students. So, what are the factors which affect the academic achievement? So, there might be so many. Study habit is one factor. Quality of teaching might be the second factor. The infrastructure and resources provided to the students might be the third factor. Socioeconomic status might be the fourth factor. IQ of the students might be the fifth factor. So, there might be so many factors which affect the academic achievement of the students. So, I want to know about those factors. So, what I will do? I will collect 1000 students who have just passed class 10th students, or who are about to appear in the 10th class exam, I mean something like that, depending upon the situation. And I will take the data. Suppose they have passed class 10th, so I will take the data and I will see how much marks they have scored. And then I will study simultaneously how many hours they studied, which coaching institute they have joined, or which tuition classes they have joined, or from which schools they have they were enrolled, and what the method in those schools was followed, what was the level of the infrastructure in that particular school, how much time parents gave them, gave their words, I mean so many things. And accordingly I will collect the data, I will classify the data, I will tabulate the data, I will interpret the data, and I will be coming to some conclusion. So, here the data that I have got is not through the experiment, is not through the observation, rather this data I have got through surveys. So, in statistics, in a nutshell, what Ferguson definition says, that in statistics we collect, classify, analyze, interpret the data obtained through experiments, observations and surveys. So, based on these four definitions that I have discussed with you people, let us come to some characteristics of statistics. So, there might be so many characteristics of statistics. I am just discussing few important characteristics of statistics. So, first one, it is an independent field of study or academic discipline. So, you have so many discipline like zoology, like physics, like political science, like sociology. So, similarly, we have statistics as a field of study or academic discipline, and as students get master degree in zoology, physics, political science and sociology. Similarly, the students get master's degree or bachelor's degree in statistics also. So it is an independent field of study or academic discipline. Coming to the second characteristics, it is an empirical science. So, how you can say it is an empirical science? See, it has been elaborated, that is, in it data are collected by conducting experiments, observations and surveys, which already I have explained. So, empirical science in which you don't believe on any other thing, rather you collect the data at your own through your experiments, observations and surveys, etc. The foundation of statistics by and large is provided by mathematics, and if you see the history, you will find all those people who have contributed to the field of statistics, basically they were mathematicians. So, by that way you can say that the very foundation of statistics is provided by the mathematics. And even today there are so many universities in India where you will find that department of mathematics and statistics, they are run hand in hand, they are run together. They both the departments exist together, department of statistics and mathematics. Definitely there are some other universities where statistics department is different and mathematics department is different, but so many universities run both the departments hand in hand. Coming to some more characteristics, if you see, statistics refers to the measures of a sample or group, whereas data refers to individual. This statistics basically is the sometimes the measure of a sample or a group. So, let me give you one example. So, I want to measure the teacher effectiveness. How effective are the teacher? So, there are so many teachers, lack of teachers. It's not possible for me to study every individual teacher. So, what I will do? I will collect a sample. I will take a sample of 500 teachers and I will somehow select the sample in such a way that rural teachers, urban teachers, male teachers, female teachers, more experienced teachers, less experienced teachers, teachers who are married, teachers who are not married. Such type of representation is there in my sample, and on the basis of the data that I will get from that sample, I will get some result and I can generalize those results on the whole population. Coming to the next characteristic, it is a method or technique used to facilitate in the analysis and interpretation of numerical data. It makes raw data meaningful. So, what does it mean? statistics makes raw data meaningful. So, what does it mean? Let me write some data. So average salary of a business executive in some multinational company is 1,50,000 rupees per month. It is a raw data. It has no meaning unless and until it is interpreted by statistics. That is, this is a MNC, this is a multinational company. What about the other multinational companies? What's the average salary over there? Or what about the government employees? What's the average salary there? What about the European companies? What's the average salary over there? What about the American companies? What's the average salary is there? So, basically, raw data as such does not mean anything unless and until it is interpreted by statistics. So, statistics makes some raw data a meaningful data. Again, I am giving you another example. So, average height, suppose I am saying, of Indian male is 5 feet and 3 inches, whereas the average height of a Chinese is 5 feet and 1 inches. These are raw data: 5 feet 1 inch, 5 feet 3 inch, 90 kg weight, 1,50,000 rupees salary, 33.4 degree centigrade temperature, uh, you see, length of someone, height of someone, length of some table, uh, volume of something. I mean, all these are raw data. So, this raw data will be made meaningful by the statistics. How? The moment I am going to compare these two, I will say that an Indian has more height, or an average Indian is taller than the average Chinese. So, what I want to explain through this point, that basically a raw data is made meaningful by the statistics. Coming to the next point, in statistics we use methods to draw inferences about the properties of population on the basis of sample statistics or observation. So, first we take observations, and on the basis of those observations we use some methods to draw inferences. So, what are those methods? Sometimes we calculate mean, sometimes we calculate median, and there are some other statistics like standard deviation, quartile deviation. Sometimes we use analysis of variance, sometimes we apply t-test, particularly if there are two groups, sometimes we use analysis of variance, particularly if there are more than two groups. So in statistics, depending on our purpose and depending on the nature of the data that has been collected, we use so many methods, and on the basis of those methods we draw some inferences. Let us continue and discuss few more characteristics of statistics. Comparing different facts and problems, establishing relationship between different facts. So, through statistics, basically so many facts are compared, and not only compared, rather certain kind of relationship between different facts are established. For example, height and weight. So, these two are related with each other. So, if a person is taller, by and large it is expected that he or she will have more weight. If a person is slim, it is or have less weight, it is expected that his or her height will be less. So, through the statistics it is easy for us to establish certain kind of relationship between two facts. Statistics examines old formulations and theories continuously. We keep on examining old formulations and theories, and we bring some modifications in those, and new theories come out, and we establish new formulation and theories based on examining old formulation and theories. So, thank you very much for listening to me. For today, it's enough. I will come with some other topic. Have a great day.